We are tracking multiple winter storms as we head into the new month of February, and that could bring heavy snow, sleet, freezing rain, and the potential for significant severe weather. All of those things we'll be tracking right here for you on Weather on the Go. So if you are new to the channel, make sure to subscribe. We're approaching 118,000 subscribers. Thank you to all the new subscribers, all the old subscribers, and supporters here on the channel. I definitely do appreciate it. If you want to support the channel, subscribe down below, follow along with all of my detailed, accurate weather breakdowns, like the video, give it a thumbs up, and share this video with friends, family, and on social media. I definitely appreciate it. Let's get in here to our temperatures as we go in through the weekend here. We're going to be seeing some milder air coming in here. These are your temperature anomalies today and going into Sunday, and notice you have a lot of oranges, a lot of blues on the maps. We're kind of going to see more average temperatures finally as we go through the weekend. And looking at our temperatures out west, we're going to see the coldest of our air further to the north up here into Montana, Wyoming, Idaho, and into northern portions of Colorado. Your traditional areas that are in higher elevation will stay colder into the single digits and the teens for highs this afternoon. Look further to the south into Southern California, Arizona, and New Mexico. West Texas, we're going to be in the 50s and 60s. A delightful afternoon further to the south with sun-splashed skies. And then looking here at the central U.S., coldest to the north, so the Dakotas, Minnesota here up into Wisconsin, we're going to be in the teens and 20s for highs this afternoon. Further to the south, Iowa, Illinois, Missouri, Kansas, Nebraska, we're going to be into the 20s and 30s, approaching 40, by the way, in places like Chicago, mid-40s in St. Louis, and 40 there in Kansas City. And then you go into the east, we're going to be seeing the same thing. Coldest to the north, warmer to the south here, where areas around the Great Lakes, the northern Ohio Valley into the northeast will stay into the 20s here and possibly the 30s. More 40s and 50s found further to the south, 60s in northern Florida this afternoon. Let's track our next weather maker as we go in through the weekend. We have a cutoff low pressure system down here into California, and this is going to bring some much needed rainfall and snowfall to parts of the state as we go through the weekend. And this is going to be a system to watch also down the road across the central U.S. for wintry weather. So let's walk you through the weekend here. We got moisture as we go, especially into this afternoon there in California. It's not going to be any flooding rains, not going to be major snow, but we're seeing moisture. So that's the important thing as we go through the afternoon and then heading into Sunday as well. Another feature we're going to watch is some rainfall down here in East Texas, Louisiana, Mississippi, and southern Arkansas. No severe weather expected with this, but we definitely could be getting some unsettled weather in the form of rain showers as we go into tonight and going into Sunday. Otherwise, the main storm track is up into Canada for the most part, bringing some clipper systems of snow from Manitoba, Ontario, and into Quebec for the weekend. And let's move this needle all the way to Monday morning, and notice we got some unsettled weather as we go across portions of the deep south and southeast. A formidable clipper could bring some heavier snows to Ontario with some wind whip snow up there as we go into Monday morning. Let's look at our weather pattern heading into next week, okay? So this is Monday, January 27th through Friday, January 31st. We got that cutoff low starting to move slowly across the Four Corners region and then eventually into West Texas. How fast does this eject into the plains is key because we could have some hefty snowfall totals if this is a slower system. Now, ahead of the system, we're going to see milder temperatures, so we're not going to have the cold air in place ahead of this like we did with the previous system. That's the difference, and that means we have more rain probably with this system coming up than snow, at least on the onset. So let's look here at what we're looking at as far as precipitation using the European model. So we go through the weekend, we got that light precipitation down to the south with mainly rain and also much needed precipitation, rain and snow, higher elevation snow, lower elevation rain there in the valleys of California. Going into Monday, notice we got some Great Lakes snow up here, Michigan, the upper peninsula as well as the lower peninsula there, definitely seeing the potential of some snow. Upstate New York, Maine, Vermont, New Hampshire are getting in on that as well as we go into Tuesday. Another clipper system right on its heels, Manitoba into Ontario there on Tuesday. Then watch this feature. Look how slow it is to move out of the four corners. We see some mountain snow here, Utah, Colorado, Arizona, New Mexico. Rainfall further east into Texas there on Wednesday. Going into Thursday, we got a formidable low developing here in Texas. While severe weather is not likely, we could have some heavier rains there as we go into Thursday. And then Friday next week, that system finally begins to eject into the Central Plains, but heavy snow from Colorado into New Mexico, the Oklahoma-Texas panhandle, and then heavy frontogenesis rain on the front side of this system. And looking here at the GFS model, same thing. We got all that snow coming in and the precipitation across the south, snow to the north here, a little bit further north with the snow across portions of the Great Lakes on the GFS. But nonetheless, you can see that system evolving down here by Wednesday and into Thursday. Heavy snows, high confidence of that from Colorado down into New Mexico, and then heavier rainfall as we go further east across Oklahoma, Texas, Arkansas, Louisiana as we go into next Friday. And right now it looks like most of the snow will be happening in the western plains and into the Four Corners region as of now. Let's look here as we go into early February, because this pattern does remain stormy. We're going to have multiple winter storm possibilities as we go into the first week of the month. We got a cold air to tap into. While it's not deep cold air, you can see the polar vortex further to the north, at least during the first week of February, we have enough to tap into here across the Pacific Northwest and southwestern Canada, and our storm track is going to follow that gradient here. You follow my cursor from California down to the Texas Panhandle and then lifting up towards the Ohio Valley, and that is what we're going to keep an eye on. It's what we call the baroclinic zone. We got the colder air to the north and west, and then we got the milder air to the east and southeast, and that's that baroclinic zone, the temperature gradient where that storm track will reside. And it's not like we don't have cold air to tap into. It's right here in southwest Canada and the Pacific Northwest. So wintry weather will be of concern. Let's look here at the European model as we go into Saturday, February 1st. We got that first system. Notice it's all rain. We did talk about how preceding this system, we have milder temperatures versus last system that we saw near the Gulf Coast that had all those cold temperatures out ahead of it. This is likely to be a rain system for much of the Midwest, the Ohio Valley down to the Gulf Coast. We might have to watch for some severe weather here, I would say from Kentucky, Tennessee, down into parts of the Gulf Coast states. And then as we go into Sunday, maybe more snow, but probably more up toward the Great Lakes and into southeastern Canada and parts of the Northeast. We'll have to watch out for cold air damming, maybe some freezing rain and sleet setups there. And then look at all the active weather. Pacific Northwest coming in on the 2nd and 3rd. That will just line up a barrage of winter storms. And this one, again, could be a warm one. Again, the exact placement of features, the low pressure system, the warm front, the cold front are all unknown right now. But what we can take away from this is an active weather pattern, and major winter storms are likely. Whether it snows in the Dakotas or if it snows in Chicago or Kansas City, it remains to be seen here on February 5th and 6th. But just to take away again, major winter storm is likely. Same thing here with the GFS. Here is Saturday, February 1st. You can see that system. This GFS model is a little colder, so it brings more snow to parts of the upper Midwest versus the European, which shows more rain. And then we see that snow up there in southeastern Canada. But it also does agree we have another storm right on its heels there, 2nd, 3rd, and 4th there of February. And this GFS is colder. It brings more snow in the picture than rain, maybe a severe weather side here. And then as we go beyond that point, just again, a barrage of winter storms as we go through the first week of February. To take away from this, here's the probability of at least 3 inches of snow between now and February 8th. And you can see there's some pretty high probabilities, even in the yellows here. That's around a 50-60% chance of seeing 3 inches or more of snow. And you can see that's lining up from the Northeast, especially the interior Northeast, into the Great Lakes, the Midwest, really all of the Midwest, the upper Midwest, the lower Midwest, the northern Ohio Valley, and then further southwest from there toward the northern and central plains and parts of the Four Corners region. And then obviously the Intermountain West going to be seeing their probabilities as well high for snow during that time frame. So the weather pattern is going to be very active. We showed you the temperature anomalies, how they're going to be a little bit different. We're going to have some milder air to start, turning colder as we get toward the 2nd week of February, and then a barrage of winter storms will produce heavy snow, sleet, freezing rain, heavy rain, and possibly severe weather. So a lot to track over the next week. week. And that is why you need to subscribe to the channel so I can walk you through these breakdowns very easily here with detailed weather breakdowns, accurate weather breakdowns on this channel. Like the video, give it a thumbs up, share this video with friends, family, and on social media. Also, leave any comments, questions, and concerns below. I'll get to those after the video, and I hope everyone has a wonderful rest of their Saturday out there.